All right. Hey, welcome back to the Anti-Study Study Club. This is David from Core Language, and I am really happy to see you again. How's your end of the summer? Summer's almost over, and I hope you guys are having fun. I have another comic today. This is a comic from an Australian artist. His name was Pat Sullivan, and he did a very, very famous cat. His name is Felix the Cat. I think you have seen Felix the Cat before. He is a pretty famous character. And this is one of his early comics. This is from the early 20s, the early 1920s. I think it's 1923. So let's look at this comic today. Pat Sullivan and Felix the Cat. So here we have one of the first Felix the Cat comics. And we see Felix going to a house. And he's saying, I'll ask this guy for a job catching mice for him. Because cats will catch the mice, right? So Felix wants to take a job catching mice, but he needs a place to live. So if he has a job catching mice, he can live in this house. So here's Felix saying, I'll ask this guy for a job catching mice for him. What happens? Well, we see a boot here, or a shoe. So someone is kicking Felix out of the house. Felix gets kicked out of the house. And the owner of the house, the man that lives in the house, says, I don't have any mice, and I don't want any cats hanging around here. So he's quite angry. He doesn't want a cat in his house. I don't have mice, and I don't want a cat. So he doesn't want a cat hanging out or hanging around in his house. Felix looks like he's been hurt. He has some stars over his head, so I think he's a little bit injured or a little hurt. But now he's quite angry, and he's shaking his fist. Here's a fist, right? Here's a fist. So he's shaking his fist at the man, and he's saying, oh yeah? Well, I'll make you want a cat. What's he going to do? So now Felix has a plan. He wants this man to need a cat in the house. What do you think he's going to do? Felix has a plan. Felix steals some cheese. He is not spending money on this cheese. He is stealing the cheese from the cheese truck. And then he runs away, and you can see the man who works for the cheese company, the driver, saying, hey, someone's stealing the cheese. Felix looks happy that he stole some cheese. Don't steal the cheese. It's not good. Not good. And then Felix shows the cheese to a group of mice. We have some mice here. And he says, hello, friends. If you want to share some of this amazing cheese, just follow me. So he's saying, hey, if you want this cheese is really good. It's amazing. If you want some amazing cheese, follow me. And then you see Felix is running with the cheese, holding the cheese, and the mice are following Felix. He's saying, come on, almost there. Where do you think he's going to go with this cheese? I think you might know. Aha, back to the house. So he throws the cheese into the house. And the mice follow. Of course, the mice want the cheese. The mice love cheese, right? Do you love cheese? I love cheese. Cheese is delicious. So the mice are running into the house to follow the cheese. And there are a lot of mice. Many, many mice are running into this house. And they're having a great time. They are having a party. They are partying in this house. You see the mice are drinking and smoking, and I'm sure they ate the cheese. And what do we see this old man doing here? The man that lives in the house, he is probably hanging from the light. But he looks very, very nervous and anxious and worried, scared. You know, this man is not happy with the situation. I think he is afraid of the mice. There are mice everywhere in his house. And who do we see here in the window? He's kind of peeking into the house. Felix is outside, peeking through the window. To peek is to take a look, but you don't want people to see you, but you want to see something. So you might just kind of peek, peeking like that. So Felix is peeking into the house and watching this scene of the mice partying, having a good time, and the old man so scared, so anxious, so nervous. What do you think happens next? Haha, now the old man is begging Felix. Begging, he's on his knees, begging him. If you stay here, you'll have a home for the rest of your life. So now this old man wants Felix to come and live in his house because the cat will catch the mice. So Felix is very clever, he's very smart, and he came up with a plan to live in this house. And now you can see Felix being served by the old man. The old man is serving him food, serving him a beautiful dinner, and he's sitting on the most comfortable chair in the house. He's sort of like the king of the house now, and this old man is serving the cat. Felix is very clever. Okay, let's review this one more time. Let's listen to this one more time, and we will have a really good idea about what's happening. Okay, we see Felix going to a house, walking to a house, and he's saying, I'll ask this guy for a job, catching mice for him. I will ask this guy for a job. So he's going to say, hey, I'll catch your mice if you let me live in your house. And Felix gets kicked out of the house. And the man does not want a cat in his house. He says, I don't have any mice, and I don't want any cats hanging around here. I don't want any cats in my house. Felix looks a little hurt here, but then his hurt becomes anger, and he's shaking his fist at the man, saying, oh yeah, well, I'll make you want a cat. So now Felix has a plan. The first part of his plan is to steal some cheese. Felix has no money. Felix is a cat. So if he wants some cheese, he has to steal the cheese. So he steals the cheese from the cheese truck. And of course, we see the truck driver saying, hey, that's my cheese. Felix runs away from the truck. He looks kind of happy here. He looks pleased that he stole the cheese. And then he shows the cheese to a group of mice. And he says, "Hello, friends. If you want to share some of this amazing cheese, just follow me." So he has some really good cheese, amazing cheese. You could say incredible cheese, fantastic cheese, really great cheese. You could say any of those things. But he says amazing cheese. So he has this really good cheese. And then, of course, the mice want the cheese. So they follow Felix. Felix is holding the cheese and the mice are following him. Felix says, "Come on, almost there." Felix throws the cheese into the house, and we see a very large group of mice following the cheese into the house. They're running into the house. And they have a great time. The mice are having a party. They are drinking and smoking and eating, and the old man is very upset, very nervous, very anxious. He's very scared that he has a house full of mice. The mice are partying and having a great time, and Felix is peeking into the house. Through the window, he's looking at the mice and the scene that's happening in this house. Now, the old man needs a cat in the house, and he says, "If you stay here, you'll have a home for the rest of your life. Please, please, please." He's begging him. He's on his knees, begging the cat, begging Felix the cat to come and live with him. And then we see Felix being served a beautiful, delicious dinner in the most comfortable chair of the house. And Felix is now the king of that house. So, a very clever cat, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Remember, he said to the old man, "Oh yeah? Well, I'll make you want a cat." So he did what he said that he was going to do. Very, very clever, very smart, this cat. Okay, very good. All right, that's our Felix the Cat comic. I have some cheese here. Wow, that's a really big piece of cheese. I don't know if I could eat all of this cheese. I'm not sure it would be healthy to eat this much cheese. Anyway, that's our comic today. That was Felix the Cat. I hope you liked that one. I always like Felix. I think he's a very clever cat and always fun to watch his adventures. Remember, guys, I still have my Thursday night conversation class. If anybody wants to get some practice, send me a message and I'll let you know about Thursday night conversation. And if you want private lessons, I'm still open for those. If you need some work on anything with your English, let me know. Otherwise, you can always leave me a comment and ask a question. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. All right, enjoy your week. Enjoy what's left of the summer. Enjoy your vacation if you're on vacation before you all go back to school or whatever you do in the fall. I hope you're having a good time. This is David from Core Language. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you next time. Take care.